Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to do a 1 month review on Fairy Tail Fist, right? And kind of talk about my progression as a free-to-play in this game, showing you kind of where I am in various different modes in this game right now. And also just more broadly talking about why I actually feel this game is pretty free-to-play friendly. Now I really want to address this part where I believe this game is free-to-play friendly because I know a lot of people were a bit put off or discouraged by the festival banner that was added to the game last week. Because this one you can only get 25 tickets for free, and you need 50 in order to actually guarantee a character. So that kind of means you pretty much either have to get very lucky, or you either have to buy with real money, to get a character on the first go, or you have to wait an extra month before getting the character. So as a result, I know some people then kind of feel like this game is very pay to win heavy as a result because this character is kind of locked behind paywall, and I kind of agree with that. But at the same time, from my own experience in this game so far, I do feel this game actually gives out a lot of resources for free to plays, and I actually reach a pretty funny conclusion, which is that I actually feel this game is better for free to players than for pay to wins because everything in this game is actually really expensive. But even though I didn't pay any money in this game, but if I just look at the packs here, in order to actually guarantee a character, you need 50 tickets. So that basically means you need to buy both of these packs twice, and that's going to be like 180, no, 160 British pounds, which is probably just under 200 US dollars. In order to get a character from 4 star to 6 star, you need 10 copies. So that basically means you are looking at almost 2,000 US dollars just to max out one character, which is crazy expensive. I mean, granted, you're not going to need the 50 PD every single time. So let's do a bit of discount. Say you only need like 1,000 US dollars or maybe 1,500 US dollars, but that's still crazy expensive. And because of how expensive it is to actually max out a character, the actual difference between a free-to-play player and the small spender is not actually that big as a result because the small spenders are not actually able to get much value out of the tiny amount of money they're able to spend every single month. And that's kind of why I almost feel like, in contrast, this game is more free-to-play friendly than for the pay-to-wins because of how expensive it is. But yeah, anyway, let me just kind of show you my progression so far, just so you have a rough idea where free-to-play player can go in this game. Now, I'm not saying that my progression is the highest. I'm sure there are the free-to-play players who go further than me. But being a day one player, I think I probably do set a good example of what you can expect for this game if you are completely free to play. Now, first of all, just to show you I'm completely free to play, right? So I haven't spent anything. Now, in terms of my PvE progression, I am more blocked by stamina rather than the characters I have. So once again, this is why I feel this game is also more free to play friendly than some of the other games because I don't actually need a good character in order to do well in my PvE stages. You can see here, for example, if I go into my elite stage, it says I need to clear chapter 13. If I go to my normal stage, it says I need to clear adventure 27, 9. And then if I go into adventure, it says I'm blocked because I'm not level 54. And that's because, my player level, not because my characters are not strong enough. So once again, if I actually have more stamina, then I can potentially hit adventure 27 and then therefore go higher. But, I wouldn't say this is an advantage pay to win players would have because you're not really paying money to get extra stamina, right? You're paying money to probably for more summons or for better gears. So that's kind of why I do feel like from free to play friendly, you are able to accomplish pretty much everything PvE wise using whoever you have without relying on very, very strong OP characters. If you look at my characters, you would then also realize that I only have Natsu at 5 star. No one else is 5 star in my whole box. And pretty much, actually, for the first 2 weeks, I was pretty much just using Guardian, Juvia, Natsu, and also Wendy. Like those four are the characters I've been using the most. It's only the last week or so after I got Jalal to 4 star, and also I meant to get dupes for Razor to make him 4 star, that I started now using Razor and Jalal a lot more. But you can also see that just in my initial lineup, like Guardian, Juvia, Nasu. Gaja and Juve you get for free in beginner events, so it's very easy to dupe them out to 4 star as well. And Nasu you can farm a lot of the early stages for his shards or fragments, so it's actually very easy to level them up, and you will be able to get pretty far just using the 3 of them very easily. But that's kind of what it is. I'm also saving up my summons. If anyone is wondering why I do not have better characters in my box, you can see I have 127 of those elite coupons, well, limited coupons, and also 270 of those limited one. Yeah, I think that's the limited one. This is the elite one. So I'm talking about probably 400 summons just between those. Then I have another 50k gems, so that's probably another just under 200 summons as well. So all in total, I probably am sitting at 600 summons right now after 1 month in the game. And I did mention summon. I'll probably say I probably summoned like 200 times previously. Like there's a 50 times on the Juvia starter banner. And then I summoned a few times on Jalal, to get him to 4 star. So I spent at least like 200 summons prior to where I am now as well. So we are kind of talking about 800 summons in total after just 1 month of play, which once again I feel that's very very generous for free to play players. So that's kind of why I do actually think you don't need to be discouraged by whatever is locked behind paywall. Just simply using the resource the game is giving you free of charge, and also a lot of the characters you're able to obtain free of charge, you are able to get very very far in the game, where to a point where you're only kind of limited by stamina rather than by how strong your characters are. I think the only PvE stage I would say is kind of locked behind my character's not being good enough, or I'm not being good enough. It's probably this perdition mode. I'm only at level 174, so I'm stuck on level 175. And that's mainly because of this stage. It needs a light shield. Well, light and dark are the two elementals I have the worst time with. If I'll kind of just briefly talk about what's my usual team. But my usual team is Jalo and Garjo, or Jalo and Racer. Actually, I'm just gonna say Jalal and Racer normally, and then depending on the shield until break, I use Garjo, Jubia, or Wendy. I think those are probably what I'll bring every now and then as the last slot for PvE stages. Before I got Racer, I was using Nasu, and at that point, my team was kind of like full physical team. It was Nasu, Garjo, and Jalal, and then I swap out Nasu for Juvia or for Wendy for whatever elemental shield. And before I got Jalal, like I said, I was using this free to play team of Garjo, Juvia, and Nasu. Now, the reason why I'm struggling with light and dark is because I just simply don't have very many good dark characters and light character. Dark, I leveled up my Kageyama a bit on the gears just so that I can break some of the early dark shields. But honestly, Kageyama is pretty bad character. Like I'm only using him because there's no other dark choices. I got Midnight obviously fairly recently. I didn't summon on him. I purely got it from the event. So I initially only got Midnight for a few days. So that's kind of why I'm not really too hot on Midnight yet. As for Light, I was previously using Area because you can actually buy fragments to make him 4 star. So that's kind of what I'm doing. As you can see, I have leveled up a bit of gears, etc. But then eventually I meant to get Makarov, and also since you actually get a shard of Makarov here as well, I decided to switch my focus to Makarov. But because my Makarov is only stuck at 3 star right now, I only have 3 skills. Even though I'm leveling them up, I only have 3 skills. So I do feel like it's not quite enough for me to break the shield. Especially for this stage, for this petition stage, it's very difficult for me. So I've been stuck on this one for a while now. So hopefully when Luxus is out, I'm going to summon Luxus and hopefully try to actually beat this stage. So that's kind of where I am from PvE perspective. For a lot of the other game modes, I don't really have any trouble either as a free-to-play player. For Tower Heaven, now this is one stage where you think free-to-play players would have trouble because when you use one character, you're not able to use them again. But I already created a guide on this. If you need help, you can just check out my guide. You can clear a lot of the early stages with just very low level characters and just swap your magic stones around your characters and kind of like cheese your way through. So because you don't have one set of good equipment, I just swap that around my characters whenever I need them to perform. So that's kind of why I'm able to cheat through the stage. So I am currently at so I haven't done it this week yet, but last week I was at floor 22. And you can see I was just using one character pretty much throughout. And you saw my box earlier, like none of them is like 5 star apart from Nasu. So it's absolutely fine for you to kind of cheat through a lot of the stages in Tower Heaven without much heavy investment. Floor 20 is where it actually get difficult. My Evergreen is not really leveled up either. It's mainly my Juvia and Wendy. I'm just using Evergreen for that kind of buffer period where I need to wait for my cooldown to finish. And same thing for Gray and Leon. They're only half trained up. I'm using them more as just like a body count to wait for my cooldown to finish to absorb some damage, etc. So potentially, if I swap it around tiny bit, I may be able to push another 1 or 2 floor up. But that's kind of the limit where I am. And once again, you can see I'm not really limited by my characters not being strong enough. I'm just limited because I do not have enough characters, right? Even if I didn't, because I'm just using one character per floor for the early stages. So the max I can go is like 4 extra levels. So the max I could go is just floor 26. So I'm not actually far behind from the absolute maximum I'm able to hit. So I wouldn't say I'm kind of being hindered in this mode because I'm free to play either. Now, what else are there? Wizard test, that's just straightforward. You can always clear that very early on. Irrational Sis, I am at. So I'm concentrating on just Hot Eye and Cobra right now. So I am at Extreme 9 for both of them. And in order to unlock Extreme 10, I just need to farm this a lot more. I'm mainly concentrating on Hot Eye because I'm more physical attackers. But yeah, I'm still only halfway from meeting the requirements, right? So there's still going to be some time before I can go any further. But once again, I'm not limited because my characters are not good enough. I'm limited because of I do not have enough tries per day. So that's kind of why I feel like a lot of modes in this game is not really limited by resources. Well, actually, no, it's limited by the resources for how many days you can have, and that's not something you can easily just pay to win in order to closing that gap. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Now, the one area I do feel I can definitely see a gap between me and other players is going to be any competitive mode where I do compete against other players, and that's mainly going to be PvP and also in this battle of Underground. Now, Battle of Underground, I am currently in gold right now. I just got promoted to gold. So basically, what happens? Was promoted to silver for the very first week. I unlocked it. Then I was stuck last week. I missed promotion the week before that, and then last week I managed to get promoted to gold now. So basically, I am one league behind the other top players in my server. So that's kind of why I was able to see a gap between me and the Wells, let's say, because for that kind of 2 weeks back when I missed promotion, there was like a substantial damage difference between what I am able to dish out and what they are able to dish out. So I can definitely feel a bit of a gap there when you're actually competing against real players. And similarly with PvP to some extent, so for Arena, I'm currently in Diamonds. Once again, I missed out on promotion last week. Was actually able to go back to back promotion for every single week except for last week. And then last week when I was in Diamond, it was quite crazy. I don't even know how people can get that high points. But basically, I'm only one league away from Legendary, which is essentially the highest level. But it seems crazy to get promoted to Legendary because you need to be the top 10 players. And I don't even know how it's possible because, for example, this week just started. I was reset at 1,000 points. If I look at the top of the league, I see people at almost 2,000 points after one day. But I just don't know how is that even possible because you only get 10 tries every single day. Normally, the max number of points you get is like 50 points. So the max I can see you getting is only 500 points. So unless everyone else at the top of the league is buying 10 extra chances per day, or they, for whatever reason, they've got loads of defensive wins. Otherwise, I just don't even know how I can get even anywhere close to their points, to progress to get promoted from diamonds to legendary. So I do feel like I'll probably be just stuck in diamond for a very, very long time, potentially forever, especially if people are actually doing what I'm saying, they're actually buying extra PvP tickets just so that they can be promoted. I don't think it's worth it though, because actually, how much is first time rewards? 3,000. Maybe it's worth it. I don't know. I have to do some calculation later. But even if I buy 10 times every single day, there's no guarantee I can actually get to legendary. So probably if I just weigh it up, it's probably still no worse for me to buy extra ticket. Just trying to chase that. So yeah. So once again, arena on one league behind. Uh, the best players in this game. So in my server, so that's kind of where I can see that difference between me and potentially some pay to win players. And then peak contest, I normally fluctuate around 200. Basically, if I use all my tries, I get to about 160 to 180. And then next day, if I don't use any tries, I kind of drop back down to 225. So I normally just fluctuate around 200, which is okay. It's not ideal, but that is what it is. It's definitely a lot harder because you do need multiple teams. And I do feel like as a free to play player, even though I'm able to cheese my way through some of the other modes where you need multiple characters by just swapping around my energy stones, for example, I'm not able to do that in PvP because I actually need 6 characters and have 6 sets of energy stones. So that's where I am definitely able to see a bit of a gap between me and the other pay to win players, or maybe just the better free to play players, right? Um, but yeah, so this is kind of a progression wise on where I am in the game right now. My verdict on this game so far is that I do feel it's pretty free to play friendly as a whole. Like I said, vast majority of the content that I am blocked in right now is actually more due to, for example, lack of stamina or just simply lack the number of characters for me to hit any higher in Tower Heaven, or just simply lack the number of daily tries for me to do a ration sets. So it's not really hindered by because my characters are not good enough. PvP is probably the only time you're going to see that difference, but that is to be expected, right? Other people are paying money, so there should be a difference between you and other players. So I'm not too worried about this. Anything else, I feel like this is possibly something you can expect as a free-to-play players. Definitely do not be discouraged by the fact that certain banners are locked behind paywalls. Because like I said, unless you are going to whale out and spend thousands of US dollars into this game, otherwise you are just going to be stuck at 4 star anyway. And a 4 star character is definitely nowhere near as good as a 6 star rare character. So definitely don't be discouraged by those. Just continue on, and I'm sure you also end up, having a lot of fun in this game, just being completely free to play.